Well, hello. Back after a fortnight, and such a busy fortnight. I hope you all had a good time and the weather hasn't been too bad for you. We've had some very good days. We've also had some very wet days here as well. And as I said before, the land is sort of liking it, but does make going out and gardening and even getting washing dry quite difficult. So could do with a little bit more sunshine if other world wouldn't mind managing that for me. But let's not get in the way. Let's just do what we can. But my goodness me, have I had a busy, fortnight since I saw you last. What have I been doing? Well, really the big thing was the students' workshop gather. So I had my apprentices round, and we were here for, the first person arrived not last Thursday, but Thursday week, and then everybody had gone by the following Thursday. So it was a whole week that we were together. We couldn't all be together though, because two of them are my New Yorker lasses. They live in New York and they can't get out of the USA easily. And although they could come here, they're really going to get hit. I mean, the quarantining or self-isolation isn't a problem because I said, you just come here and you stay here with me and you can self-isolate along with me. Because there's a problem with that at the moment. Goodness knows what will happen after next Monday. But at the moment, you have to put down on your form where you're staying. And if they had come and self-isolated in a B&B in Stratton, say, then they'd have had to add me onto the form again and move and all the rest of this. It's, oh my God, the paperwork, it is appalling, even if you do it all online. So I said, well, you can come to me if you can come. But it was so difficult. And if they come, they had to have a, is it PCR? The big expensive test that has to go away to the lab. And they had to book one for when they arrived and then another one for before they left. And they're coming at about 300 quid each. So whatever you spent on your airfare, you're probably spending the same on the testing. And, you know, not all of us millionaires, Boris, remember that? No, probably not. But anyway, so we said, okay, we can't do that. Now, as you probably know, I've been working with the apprentices and doing quite a lot of work and teaching and making videos and things like that on Zoom. We've done a lot of work with the apprentices and with the Rainbow Warriors on Zoom, including whole weekend workshops with people away because people couldn't even come here for a while. It's only recently that they were able to come for the gather. So wherever they were, like Liverpool or Berkshire or wherever, or New York, we organised the workshops so that we could gather on Zoom, but they could do the work at their own home or around their own place, wherever they went out and walked and all the rest of it. And my goodness, it's worked so well. It's actually so good that I'm keeping it going, whatever happens with COVID, because traipsing over, I mean, if you're in America or Australia, as some people are, traipsing here, I mean, you can't come here for a weekend, not unless you're millionaires. And you don't want to for, you know, air miles and pollution and all the rest of the shit. So we do it on Zoom, gathering together, having like our first meeting on the Friday night, and then sorting out what we're going to do for the Saturday morning and doing stuff on the Saturday, which means going out and journeying and listening and asking and noticing and all the stuff, and finding out what other world's got to give you to do with that particular exercise, because all the workshops are themed. And then you come back and you do your mind map and make any notes. And since Imolc, which happens every year, that's this third lesson. So from the third lesson, students do their mind map, make their notes, and then they weave it all into a story. They tail weave it into a story. And then on the Sunday, at the final gather, we all share our stories. It's amazing. It's absolutely wonderful. I've got them recorded, and one day I will ask the apprentices, may I put some of these out to everybody, obviously with full credits and everything like that, because really they're teaching tales, each one, and these are just apprentices. I'm just so thrilled. And it's worked really, really well. So the workshops work when we do them on Zoom. We don't necessarily spend many, many hours on Zoom. We obviously have chats and work it out together and talk about difficulties, talk about successes, have new ideas, and this sort of thing. But each person does the work in their own sacred space. And your home is your sacred space. Your garden, your park, the walk you do in the woods that are just opposite or wherever you go, or if you have to drive out, those woods. So they do them there. They befriend the spirits there. They befriend the spirit of place. They ask what the spirit of place would like, what they need, and how they can work on this particular theme and how everything can help each other. And so the threads are coming in, from New York, from the Catskills, from Liverpool, from the Southeast, from Australia, from everywhere. And they're all coming in, and we're all mixing our threads and joining them up. And everybody's got it. I talked about the mycorrhiza, obviously, especially near the beginning. But everybody got it. So what we're doing, it's like spiritual, ethereal, or etheric mycorrhiza going around the world, connecting through our tales, through our stories, through getting together. I think it's what other world really want. They seem pretty pleased anyway, and it's all sort of working. So I'm expanding it even more for the new apprentices who will be coming this autumn, this Samhain. Well, hopefully by 1st of September, because that's when the cutoff date is. And so if you want to apply, get on with it now and get in on those couple of places that are left, because it's all really starting to roll and we're getting it together, and you need to be here because there's quite a lot of pre-course work to do before you actually get down to doing the actual lessons, which begin and you get the first lesson in the middle of October, ready to start on the 31st. So it's really pushing and expanding, but of course it's a terrific learning curve for me, and has been, because I was doing some Zoom before COVID struck, and it was working, and I was thinking, this is good, but I haven't had to learn stuff like that for years. So it felt like this to me. I was stagger. But I was making it, and I've actually got quite respectable at it now, thank the goodness. And so that the latest excuse me, project that Otherworld's got for me, doing these live Zooms, is not quite such a, oh my God, how am I going to do that? Because I'm actually getting it together. But I need to do some practice before everything starts off. But to go back to the workshop, which I'm absolutely full of, because of course, before they come, I have to prep everything, prep me, and just simple like getting the house ready for them and the garden and the food and everything like that. But there's also the preparation of like, what is this? And sitting with each of the exercises we're intending to do. And is this right? Or do you need me to make any last minute changes to other ones? Excuse me. Gonna have to open them again. This is awful. Oh my dear. This is this blooming Sjögren's thing. It's not hay fever. Well, it's exacerbated by it. So just don't watch me for the moment, because I will do things to my nose. So I will look away from you. Just talk among yourselves. I'll be back in a couple of seconds. Oh. The Sjögren's thing is a add-on. If I haven't got enough diseases, that happens with autoimmune diseases, and rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease. So it's one of the charming little add-ons that they've given me. What it's about is dry eyes, dry nose, and dry mouth. And I can't sit in a room, an ordinary room, dry room, without bowls of water all around it to keep the air moist. And I haven't got that in here. Forgot. So open the window and actually use this. It's only seawater stuff to wet my nose again. So sorry, too much information. Shut up, Melanie. Shut up and get on with it. Right. So one of the things that we did right at the beginning of the workshop was some people wanted to make drums, including the American girls, and of course they couldn't because they weren't here. So Fiona was making drums, and she was working with just one student, with Louise, and Kim and I went out, as another student and I went out and into the wilds, into a place called the Stiper Stones, which is quite amazing, and about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour away from here, through really, really good roads. And my two American girls, they were going away. They actually went out into the Catskills, which is beautiful mountain country, not too far from New York. Got a place to stay there, a log cabin, so they were all themselves and everything. And so what Otherworld said would be a good idea was if all of us, except Louise, made drums out of whatever it was, where we were when we went for a walk that day. This was on the Saturday. So we went out with nothing in our pockets except, an apple and a lump of cheese and a bottle of water. I will get better, honestly. And went for our walks. And we went, my two New York girls started off together and then they split, and Kim and I started off together and then we split. So we all went to different places, the places that called us. And we waited till we got to the land. We weren't sort of, doing map reading. Well, we knew where we were going. We told people where we were going, safety precautions, of course. But we weren't deciding that, well, I'll do it there and you do it there. So walked up the hill and that was fine. And then we got to the top, and all along the top, the first bit of the ridge, it's like a dragon's back, the rocks. It's absolutely stunning. And you just look up to it, and it's like a wall. And because of the shapes of the rocks, it's almost like the what do you call it, spiky bits on the dragon's back. So it was a bit sort of, ooh. Add in for us, we got there, parked the car, and the mist came down. So we could see 10 feet ahead. And everything else, we were walking continuously into a threshold, which was totally stunning and totally amazing. So we went up the hill, and the first place was this dragon's back. And we both needed to go there, but quite a way apart, nowhere near each other. And still no idea how we were going to make the drums. There's no planning. There's no project planning of the whole day. You go in there and you wait to be spoken to by Otherworld and shown. Here, pick that up, do that. And you do that and it's stunning. Can't get the apprentices to do that straight away when they first come. at the beginning of the course. It's a bit too hard to just throw somebody on and say, it's like throwing them in the pool when you don't know if they can swim. You've got to get some ideas of how to do the rest of it. And this is where the asking and the listening and the noticing and the being present and all the rest of it comes in. So they're all skilled at that. So we got there, and I've got to go up there. I've got to go up there. See you later. Left each other. Fine. And the only one I can talk about, of course, is mine, because the others are theirs. And although I might give you some hints, I can't tell somebody else's story for them. So it was pretty rocky up there. The top of the Stiper Stones is very bouldery. I mean, the rocks are like this big, and that's a small one. And so you're picking your way, trying not to fall over. And there's a bit of the rock was just coming. Right, come on. There was one solitary spire of foxglove standing up against the rocks. And okay, got it. So get there, sit down, and what shall I do? Well, I always carry a walking staff. This is a very good idea, whether you're disabled or not. 3 legs and having something to help you find out how deep something is, whether something's solid. Your staff is really your friend. And of course, mine is special. It's a very good walking staff, but it's got all sorts of other bits and pieces to it, and it was made for me by somebody special. So get there, and I started at the feet on the stone, so the stone there, so it's like. And so on. And I started to sing. Just mouth music, no words. And the whole thing went. And then the stick stopped. And that was enough. And you could feel absolutely, that was, thank you very much, that's enough. Now you've got to go on to the next one. I had to make 3 drums. Which was exciting. Everybody else was quite good, and they only got to make 1 and to spend quite a long time doing it and all that sort of thing. I didn't get much time doing it. I got shunted on to the next rock, which is a big, big castle-like rock called Mounston Rock. I get there, and other world jokers. So it said, come on, up you come. I mean, it's like this. You need to be a mountain goat or a rock climber to get up it, or young and fit, because there are paths for you to clamber and climb and not fall off. Me? No. So I looked at them and said, you're having a laugh. No, come on. No, I'm not coming. If you want me up there, you have to accept that I shall probably die, either going up or coming down. I shall fall off and smash myself up. And I ain't finished the book, and I ain't finished the novel, and I ain't done your Zoom courses yet, and I haven't even finished with this lot of apprentices. Now, do you want me to give up early? He goes, okay, you're alive, you're awake, yeah, come on. And they led me over to another wall-like place, but with, quite a decent sitting on rock, and I go and sit on. But on the way between the first drum and this one, I picked up, these 2 stones had gone, bing, me, bing, me. I picked them up, and they were about sort of fist size. They're a bit bigger. And you got to carry them and take them to the next place. Okay, that's fine. So I was fairly sort of thinking, I think I'm going to have to bang these 2 together. That's going to be it. And it was. Well, yeah, that was the beginning. And the whole of the Stiper Stones is made of a sort of rock called quartzite, which has properties which we'll go into in a minute, and you may know them anyway. So, okay, we're ready. And I said, come on then, other world, and my gang who's around me said, come on then, let's have it, let's do it. So bang, bang, bang with these rocks and rhythm, and it was sort of like the stick drumming earlier, and and banging them together. And after I'd been doing it for a minute or two, I said, "Who's got a fire? Where's the fire?" Keep them all going. Where's the fire gone? And oh, right. Well, of course, you all know about striking flint to step on stone and steel on flint and that to get a spark. I looked, and you could just see just a flicker now and again of a spark, just a slight sort of little haze of a little wisp of smoke going up. I was like, bloody hell. And keeping on going. I was doing it for about nearly 5 minutes, I think. And then again, it stopped. And the rocks were in my lap, were in my hands, like this way up. So I looked at them and I, whoa. And so I felt the top of the rock where I'd been banging it. It was hot. I'd been making fire. A bit longer, and I probably, if I'd had any tinder, I could have lit a fire. Don't want to up there. Too much peat. But it was available. And then there was sort of like, oh, what's it sitting there? Yeah, you made a fire drum. Good on you. That's what we needed. So you had a stone drum, a fire drum. Right. Okay. Still these boulders to climb up or walk through in the path, which is really tricky. That was a real thing for me too, because I could not, normally when you're walking, you're able to look around a mile of view and see the birds. No, didn't dare. The couple of times I tried, and I was nearly flat on my face in a rock. And, then I got from the gang, watch where you're going. Watch each step. Remember, watch each step. And that was much wider than this walk. So I'm in a phase where I need to be very careful where I go and to watch each step of my journey. Got that? Thank you very much. So I got to the final rock where I knew they would be stopping me. It's called the Devil's Chair. Our old places don't half get demonized. And the Devil's Chair is a Christianized thing. Weird up there, nasty. Devil's gonna get ya. Well, our old one, who has been most turned into the Christian devil, is our god Pan, the horn god, not antlered, horns, goat's horns. And it's all goat things and the Dennis Wheatley stuff and the Hammer horror films. The devil is a goat. And can't help it. Sorry. Right. Okay. Is this how it is? Is this Pan's place? Are you here? And ping, there he was. I said, yeah, waiting for you. Great. Okay. Fine. Lovely to see you again. Haven't seen you for a couple of days. So he said, well, you got this far, so let's do this one, and then you can have your lump of ham and your apple that you brought with you. So, right. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, I brought a piece of raven wing that I collected years ago, and it was very falling apart, really just the bones. And it said, I have to come. You have to leave me up there. And I've been thinking, where can I leave it? It's just rocks, and you can't dig into the earth or anything. So I got to this space between the two rocks, the chair. And I was something with the stick, tapping with the stick as I walk along, walk. And it all of a sudden it did that hollow thunk. Ground's hollow here. So I started looking really carefully. And where I got to where they wanted me to sit down, there was like a cleft, and there's two big boulders, a cleft, and you could look right down into it, so down there. And so I gifted my raven feather. Thank you very much. And yeah, the special effects team were out again. Done that. Over the top. Raven came. Actually, two. And they came and circled and pushed off again, checking me out. So that was lovely. So I said, what about this drum? And they said, it's you. It's your heartbeat. So I'm like, do you want me to drum in time with my heartbeat? No, we want your heartbeat. We want to feel your heartbeat. They said, lie down, face down, and like this. So fine. And there was just about enough grass in between the rocks for me to do that. So I lay down. It was gorgeous. It was slightly damp, but it was warm. And I could feel the earth pulsing. It was really beautiful. And the gang told me that they could feel my heart beating. And there was one against the other on the earth. I could have stayed there all day. But no, this was not a good idea. So they sort of got me up and they said, you haven't quite finished. Now, this is something that happens quite a lot in our old ways. They want just a drop of your blood. There's nothing horrible about this. And yes, your blood carries your current DNA and all that sort of thing. But without your blood, you ain't going to live. So you're actually giving your own juices, your own life juice to them. And I always carry, you've probably seen them, those finger prickers that diabetics need to use to get a drop of blood to do the test. It's really easy, you know, it's just got a little needle in it. Put it against your finger, bonk, and there you are with a drop of blood. So, and there was this beautiful crystal white rock, rose crystal, just there. Is it on there? So, put it on there. And the red on the white, and then the black peaty earth, and it went ping. Red, white, and black are the Celtic colours. And red is the upper world, white is the middle world, and black is the lower world. And red, the upper world, is the place that holds everything that can be, that may be. Middle world, white, is the place that holds everything that is. And black, the lower world, is the place that holds everything that has been, ever. And so there it was, in front of me. Thank you very much. I said, right, you can have your apple and your ham now. So I had my apple and my ham, and the mist actually lifted, and I was able to get a bit of view. And then it started to rain, and the mist came down again. Only trickle, and you could pat of rain. And I was properly dressed for it. And so I said, thank you very much, thank you very much. And said, you can go home now. So I did. That's the sort of thing that all the students did. Somebody was doing it in a river with a log. Somebody else was doing it actually with a tin that had cookies in it, that actually insisted on coming and needed a bit of the earth there and that sort of thing. Somebody else, again, did it with their heartbeat and their stick. And somebody else did it with stones again, as I had. And somebody did it by... And this chest thumping is another thing that we do. And you see, so you are a drum as well. And you don't know until you get there. And that's the thing with all of our journeying. You have an intention to learn through making a drum from what is around you, what is going on, and how it is. And the other will teach you what you need to know about that. And one of the things about it, and it's something that came through to every student on this workshop, and me, again, is when you birth the drum, what you're actually doing, and let's take an ordinary drum like one of those behind me, where it's a hide and a hoop and you lace it and tighten it and get a note. What you're doing is there is a spirit who wishes to speak through that drum, through you and through what you do and you make it. Okay? So you befriend the spirit and ask how, what, and what materials and what they need. Don't ever make decisions for a spirit. You will come a cropper. Everybody does. So you always ask and you always make sure that you work with them. So you find out what they need. And say, let's take the one Fiona was doing. It needed a reindeer hide and it needed an ash hoop. That was fine. And it needed certain runes done with pyrography on the wooden hoop. Now, let's start with that. You are using parts of an animal body, the deer, the reindeer, and parts of a tree body, the ash, the wooden hoop. So you're using parts of a body of a plant and an animal there. And you're bringing them together to work together. So you need to respect and honor and get in touch with the spirit of that reindeer and the spirit of that ash tree. Now, reindeer, of course, has tons and tons of Ellen spirit in there, as well as the reindeer's own personal spirit and all the traditions that are around reindeer. Ash tree has her own personal spirit, but it also holds the energy of Gwydion. Gwydion is known as the master enchanter of Britain, and ash is his tree. And have you seen ash seeds? They're a bit like that. They're dangly, and they're called keys. So Gwydion is a holder of the keys. Keys to what? That depends on the day and you and what Gwydion and you both need to do together. But those keys that he holds will unlock what you need to know and do. So Fiona had all that in her drum. And you bring them together and you lace them through. Now, if you've made a drum, you'll know this, that you lace it and you hit the drum and it goes boom. And so you tighten the lacing going right round and you hit the drum gently again. It goes so you tighten it again. And probably about third or fourth time, suddenly you don't get this sort of dead, soggy tree noise. You get boom, boom. The first of a breathing, sounding note. That is the moment when your drum is birthed, when it first gives voice. And Louise hadn't done it before. Fiona sort of gets this through every time, so do I when I've made one. But Louise said it just went straight through her, like doing the Earth's sun, straight up from the Earth and straight down from the sun, whoosh, like lightning through her, the sound, the first note of her drum. And it's just like, tears come and you just, oh my gosh, oh, and you're just holding the drum going, oh, it's great to meet you. Wow, you're so beautiful. And you are actually embodying the spirit and enabling the spirit to have a voice in this world. You enable the spirit to have a voice in this world. That's what you do. Wow. You're getting some of the responsibility of that, some of the effect. And the incredible joy of being able to give that to someone, to something, to a spirit. It's just like amazing, awesome, totally. And that's what we all had. It's very, very obvious when you're making a hide hoop drum and you get that first note. But we all had it when I banged on a stone, when I banged two rocks together, when the others, beat the drum, beat the tree log or the tin or whatever it was they got. Even the ground itself, even this. They all got that thrill the first time they heard the spirit that they were working with speak. That's what we all become. That's the journey that the apprenticeship starts you on, to learn how to become a speaker, a spirit keeper, awareness. That's what we call ourselves, spirit keeper. And part of that is enabling the spirit to speak. And sometimes it's as simple as the spirit uses the words that you say. You find yourself saying something, I didn't know that. Never thought of saying that. And you just go, let it go, and you do it, and you carry it, and then you watch what happens, just from what you said, or from what you did, or from what you danced, even. Probably not in the middle of Sainsbury's queue, but maybe. You become a voice for spirit. And that's very much like probably better known, well, certainly to those of you who've done classics and that sort of thing, better known work of the Greek actors. Greek actors were priests. They were spirit speakers. They all wore masks because that was their tradition, the way they did it. And the mask would represent this person, this hero, this god, this bad guy, this spirit, this whatever it was. And you spoke for the being that was being personified by your mask. And you spoke through the mask for them with their words. Maybe written by the playwright, but the way you did it, how you put it in, how you say it, way, And the Greek mask, theatre mask that the actors used, that was called a persona. A persona. You probably know that word, and you probably know that the word personality comes from there. Yeah. Your personality is the mask you're wearing so that the God can speak through it to the world, whichever God or power or whoever it is that you're working with at that moment. And it may not always be the same one, any more than it was for the actors. And that's what we do. And the apprenticeship starts to help you learn how to be that useful being that can actually work with and allow other world to speak through them. That's pretty responsible too. That's why you're going to take a year in the apprenticeship to get to where everybody got now. And there's more to come after that too. And the thrill of being that, of being able to do that, and you find your own ways of doing it. And the apprentices are already in their work. I mean, writing a book, one of them is, and working in a big firm, another one is, and it's working. She's using this in that. And another one It works a lot with horses. In fact, several of them work with horses, and they help people with that, and they find that that is working through them, that the otherworld beings that they work with are helping them to help other people to work with horses and dogs. Somebody else is a solicitor, another is a teacher, another is an artist. And they're all finding that they can do this. And you don't have to make a big scene about it. You just do it. And in that right moment, you are saying the right words for the people who are listening, the people who are there. It's such a thrill. I'm not sure I can top that. It certainly makes me high just thinking about it, just feeling it, and doing it, and then telling our stories of how we're doing it with each other. We're linking the threads across traditions, across continents, across the ocean. We're linking things together. Putting back, no, not putting back, shining up and polishing and making the web that is always there shine and shimmer and grow more. We don't know what it is. We don't know all about what it is, and we don't know all about what it wants. We don't need to. All we need to know, and to know how to know, is what we should be doing now. Project Planet 500,000 years into the future. Other worlds have already done that. What we need to do is to listen and say, right, now you do this, now you do that. Now just go and rest. I've done a lot of Zen. I like Zen. Zen's so like what we do, our old ways. And there's a lovely thing in all of that, in the Chinese, the student saying, Master, what shall I do? So eat your rice, then wash your bowl. Eat your rice, then wash your bowl. That's what we learn to do. And it's the most difficult thing sometimes. Because you want to be doing projects, you want to be doing this, you want to be rebuilding the world. One step at a time. Like I said to me, notice each step. Watch where you're going. Watch where you step. And you learn to do it. Another world teach you again and again and again. So it gets broader and broader and broader. And the apprenticeship is about learning how to learn effectively. How to do this. How to learn, how to listen, how to notice, how to be, how to work with other world all the time. So, yeah, what a hell of a week. And I'm just about coming down again now and getting myself together, and managed to get out and do a bit of gardening today, which I really need to do because it's like do something completely different, because that helps. So I'm going off now. I'm going to have a cup of tea and possibly even watch a film or something, or chat with Paul about something, because there was a damn good physics program on the other day, and I'm a bloody physics geek. Well, married to one, you've got to be. And I'm going to do something different. So off you go, and you all do something different too. And I will see you all again next Monday, same time, same place, wear a red carnation, and I'll see you next Monday. Take care, people. Bye for now.